seeing Moodle? Yeah? Okay. So it's got all the tiles through there, and what we'll do is the links you've obviously already engaged with is through here, and I will post the recordings through and those things onto there later. Now, the view you're getting is my view, administrative view. So each section you would pop up as a little screen with this in it, for example, not everything else. But so I've got everything together. So this one here is the unit outline, and it's probably your Bible for information that is there. And let's pull it up, see if it wants to behave for me. Here we go. And it goes through the details of the course, what where it sits in and what courses it applies to. So most of the top bits administrivia. Rationale, this is what we're going through. We're looking across curricular literacies. Here's the content that we're going to do there. Learning outcomes reflect, what's the learning expecting of that content. But probably people get a little bit more excited when we go into assessment, because everyone loves assessment. Hey, that's why we like to do that work. We should have some sort of pact between the teachers and the students. I won't give you assessment. I don't have to mark. I'm happy. You don't have to do assessment. You're happy. Yeah, that's an idea. Utopian view doesn't happen. We want you to learn through the assessment, and you'll see that the assessment, I think, matches very well what you're doing. So there's quizzes. There's 20% worth of quizzes. There's 5 literacy, 5 numeracy that are there. You have an exam, which is the content knowledge of the literacies and the numeracies. And the one that gets exciting is you create a website which talks about literacies and numeracies that are embedded in a student's task. So they're the 3 elements. Now the exams and quizzes, they're sort of, they're percent based, so there's not too much in those. That's just the mark sheet reference. But the task 3 web design talks about 2 elements, a justification, and there's all the bits in it. It's called an elaboration of the task is there. And the second part is, first one is justifying. In other words, we're going to give you a student assignment, then you'll look at it and say, what are the literacies embedded in this assignment? So digital literacies, English type literacies, and mathematical literacies, or what we call numeracies. So the justification says, this is what's in there from here. This is how I'm going to actually help my students understand it. And the web design is create a website that supports that. And that's what it's about. And you notice there's a rubric at the end that talks about task 3. These are the things I'll be marking you on. You've identified the elements of literacy, numeracy, and digital. You've evaluated and justified them, and you've communicated well. There's your marks. In part B, it's then, okay, have you implemented this? Have you engaged and supported literacy, numeracy, ICT, and have you done an appropriate communication style on the web format? So the first part of the task that really gets some meat into is actually about understanding literacy, numeracy in a task, assessing that, then creating a website to support that from the students. So that's your Bible in terms of things. Now, date-wise, whoops, I'm scanning too quickly. Date-wise, the first bit, although it's task 3, it is actually due the earlier, so week 6 for part A, and I think in week 10 for part B of task 3. So your first tranche of assessment will happen before Easter. Your second tranche of assessment will happen after Easter in terms of this. So I'm going to pause and I'll get some open mic happening. Have people got any questions in this regard?
What's the date of the assessment?
Say that again a bit louder for us, please, Ursula.
What date are the assessments due?
Yeah, the dates of the assessment, and I'll put that, it's actually on through the portal and I'll show you that, but week 6 and week 10 of CHC. Now, I'll show you where they are on the portal. Good question. Any more on that? I'll show you where it is then. Okay, I'm going to hop off that part and get back to the course here. So the unit information was where we were. Here's the weekly overview. Now the weekly overview is a download, and opening up the Word document, I'm going to throw it across shortly. Goes through what we are doing week by week. And so there's your topics that we're going to do. So we notice, and I haven't forgotten your dates. The digital assessment, the digital task is weeks today, we'll introduce it, and then module 1, 2, and 3. And then after, from week 5 onwards, we do 1 module in literacy and 1 module in numeracy thereafter, to an exam at the end. Now we've seen a path A and path B, and I'll talk about that shortly. Assessment here, there's all your links to your quizzes. There's your links to your literacy and numeracy quizzes. You can see it on screen, but you won't be able to see it because it's hidden to you and I'm getting the lecture review. Here is tasks 3A and B submission portals. Now, they are where you put your links to that. And if I open up the submission portal there's information, it's due then. Get the due date. What I have here are some of the resources that are applicable for that task. And here's some exemplars. So to give you an idea where we're heading with it, rather than say this is what look, here's the words. Dive in to have a look at that. That's the end product of part B of the assignment. But underneath part B is that part A justification. The other thing is this prepares you for LAM-TITE, and I hope I won't go on that too much about that. But LAM-TITE is the test that I call it NAPLAN for universities that the regulators have said you need to do. And this test prepares you for the literacy and the numeracies that will perhaps be in there. And I'm saying in semester 2 that you would do LAM-TITE. Will be the goal for this. Now, you've been in Moodle. Here's how the weekly flow is. So this week is the PowerPoint to download, and you can either look on your device and have it like split screen or a dual screen if you've got something set up. And here's a study guide that might guide you. Now, in terms of our learning style, it's the flipped learning. Can I get you to have gone through the elements that are in the study guide? And there's been some changes, so maybe there's not quite a perfect match with the study guide and what we're looking at. There's certainly the PowerPoint that is there, and do an activity in terms of things, any activities that are there for that. So each week will have that. Now with the digital one, it's a little bit different in terms of its content, but any web links we use, any resources are going to be on Moodle for you to read and access. So you have 3 digital modules, I said, and then there's a numeracy module. I'm just going to have a look at one of those because the numeracy and literacy modules are a little bit different. They're very self-paced in terms of what they've got. So this is the topic, and in the topic you'll have NAPLAN, which is, if you're familiar with that, in Queensland it is, or actually across Australia, 3, 5, 7 and 9 testing, and it's year 9 testing. Bit of an introduction, and here is web links, PowerPoints, a whole lot of videos, quizzes that are there, okay, and some worksheets that are there. So it's got more than enough information. And what we're going to do quickly before you go, I'll show you, is we're going to do a pre-test over the next couple of days, please. And in that pre-test, it'll identify what you've done well and what you haven't done well in. And that will draw you to which of the literacy and the numeracy elements you might want to do. So the numeracy and literacy modules are very rich in terms of things, very independent paced. It's really getting in and doing. And now if there's a topic that you actually get 100% right for, then you're on top of this. Well, you might not dive as much in that as others. So that's a bit of you as the independent learner, the mature learner who's looking at this material. The area that probably most people are not so familiar with is that digital task, which I'll get you to follow closely on. So it looks like the technology is behaving, which is fantastic. At the end, so where am I? I'm scrolling everywhere, sorry. Unit information is where we started this conversation. On the bottom here is the pre-test. So for the next few days this week, can I get you to click on the pre-test in literacy and in numeracy? And that test goes automatically, gets marked. You'll see your score that you obtain, and it relates to the comment here, which is your pathway. Now have a bit of a read of that, and the key things are 70%. Now I'm going to invite people to fast track, which is path A, path B. So if you do the pre-test, and for example, I had a student today whose senior teaching area is in mathematics. Now they're going to teach grade 12 maths methods. You know, they already know this maths. It's a too general a statement, but it's got a bit of element of truth. You're looking at grade 9 and 10 here in terms of literacy and numeracies. So he's done high level grade 12 maths. He got 100% in this exam. I'm not expecting him to sit through 6 weeks of how to do baby mathematics when he's got it. And also the same might be said for someone who's had a very rich English experience in some of the literacies that might be there. So if you achieve 70% or more, then I'm going to invite you to go fast track. What's that mean? Fast track or Path B students. Path B students complete all the quizzes before week 5. And then they do the exam, the online exam at the end. You don't have to. Previous years, about half the students say, yeah, I'm going to do that. Half the student says, no, I just want to go through this again and just consolidate my learning anyway. So if I'm going to, after that, I'll invite people to go fast track. In other words, the course will be shortened up. In other words, there's no need perhaps to go through all these literacy and numeracy modules because you've got them. Now, if you don't get the 70%, or you say, I do, but I elect to do the normal path, then after each week here, you have a quiz in literacy and numeracy. Do quiz 1 after week module 1. Do quiz 2 after, etc. And at the end, you do the exam for that. The same exam as the fast trackers did. There's no different exam. It's just that we open the window to earlier for them, if you wish. But everyone does the digital module together. I pause and ask questions. All good. I'm going to put I wonder if I can get mine. There we go. Exit full screen. Okay. Well, let's turn my chats on. Where's my chats? Can't see that. It's a little bit complicated when I full screen everything. Okay. All right, what I wanted to go through next with you is in terms of, we've done the course structure, it's got the 3 elements. I've got your assessment locked in, there's the digital task, followed by your quizzes and your final exam. So hopefully that's all very understood by everyone in terms of things. Now I'm going to throw to the PowerPoint and say, quickly go over what we haven't already perhaps done. This is the PowerPoint. You can either download it on your devices or you can go through on screen. So there's the structure. We've talked about that. But I thought we might get to know each other a little bit. Now, I've set 2 things in motion for you to get to know. And maybe this gets you to know, I haven't had my online class, my on-campus class to do yet, but I've set up this. Where is it? Here. a self-introduction. If you click on there, you'll get a voice thread, and you'll be able to add a little video commentary about your 30-second video commentary about yourself that is there. You can add that. And I'm going to, hopefully everyone engages with this, so we'll have about the 30 little picture stories of people and what they're involved in. So a bit about me, background. Can anyone recognise where that is? The Queenslanders, can you recognise where that is if you know? Oh, Melbourneites, you'll recognise where that is, perhaps. Anyone identify? That's where I was born, over here. I denied it every opportunity. I was a Melbourneian, but you know, I like AFL football. Anyone know of any Brisbane team know where that is?
Yeah, it says Garden City, but that's years and years ago.
Look at the cars. So I grew up in the 70s and 70s around Garden City. So that's where, and so I'm a Brizzy boy really, even though I was born in Victoria. So, you know, and that's my fam, adult kids, grown-up kids. These two, my son and my daughter, are in Sweden at the moment. They're teachers. They're teaching in Sweden, and they're COVIDing. They got COVID before Christmas. They said it was like a mild flu, so that's good. No harm done. This is my daughter and son-in-law. They live not too far from us, which is lovely. That's my lovely wife, who's over here. That's my mother. My stepfather got cut out. Don't know why the photo just didn't want to sort of load properly, but that's me, and so on. But I went through the class, but I'm interested to know your feelings. How are these? And the other lecturer is Peter Edwards. So I haven't introduced him, Peter, but Peter's doing the literacy components. I'm doing the numeracy components after week 5. Okay, fun fact for me: have I skydived? Have I met Chris Hemsworth? What do you reckon? What do you reckon? So I'm going to get you to, everyone is going to get 3 people to share a fun fact, or no, true false, a true false. So think of something for yourself. Why are we doing this? Because I want us to get, you know, we're a community. So I really want people to, you know, get to know about each other. Okay, here we are. Righto. Okay, let's have a vote through the chat. True, false, okay. Yeah. Righto, you ready? Actually, it was a direct message to Catherine. I thought it was going to everyone. Sorry, Catherine, if you just got it by yourself. Skydive, yes, no. True, false. 2 people reckon I have so far. True, true. Oh, Kate says, no, I have not. You're just winding us up. Catherine said, nah, doesn't look like a skydiver to me. Yes, 40th birthday. I thought, yep, gonna do this. So I don't remember screaming, but the video clearly shows that I did after I left out of the plane. It was so good. Do I need to do it again? Not really. I don't know.
Have we lost him again? Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
It looks like it.
I can hear you.
Oh, yay.
We just can't see you. There you go. You're moving.
There you go, back.
I'm back?
Yeah.
All right, my internet had a little wobble. Yeah, it showed me it. Okay, true, false, what do you reckon? Just verbal. How about we open the mics up? Come on.
I don't know who
Let's
Chris
talk a bit.
Hemsworth is.
Oh, I'd love
Yeah.
to meet Chris Hemsworth.
That's right.
But I don't
You
reckon you
know who Chris Hemsworth is?
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
He's really, sorry, I'm a bloke. This really, seriously, he's a good-looking guy. Good-looking Aussie guy. He's Thor in the Marvel. And Kate is Kate agreement. Okay, have I met him? Yes, no, come on, give it a crack.
True. Yes, I say yes.
I
Yeah.
say false.
False.
False. Haven't met Chris Hansworth. Been down to Byron a few times. You never know your luck. He lives down that way, I'm told. Anyway, enough of the silliness. That's a bit about me. So this is who I am. There's my AFL. Brisbane Lions did pretty well. Just got to get past Richmond. Volleyball's my sport I've played since I thought I'd do something different after school. Took up volleyball and got into rep squads. Mountain biking every week. Love it. I had not broken a bone until I started mountain biking. Anyway, I've got a little bit of grey, so almost grey nomad. Almost. Can't quite say I'm that demographic, but maybe I'm nudging it. Love it going camping. This is Peter Edwards, and he showed his family. That's him and his wife. He's got 3 kids. He's done a bit of travel. It's been to, anyone recognise where that is? The middle one? Germany, correct. That's something gate, I don't know, but Berlin. Anyway, so he's done a bit of travel. He came from Bundaberg. He was head of the primary for Bundaberg many years, and he told the story today about how God's called him down to do something different, to really trust in him. So he's sort of first time he's doing a CHC gig, but he's had 20 odd years worth of primary school experience in teaching and leadership. So he's a good one to have on team. So your turn, you ready? Okay, you ready? You need to grab one of these. You've got to answer one of those questions to the team. Where you've a fun fact or a true false about you. Come up with something. I said I was going to ask you that, so let's see what we've got. Righto. Brandenburg Gate. Thank you, Catherine. You're correct. That's what I was after. Okay, fun fact. We're going to zoom in. Heidi, you're unmuted. You're going to give us a fun fact or a true false. And then I'm going to have 3 people. So Heidi's up. I've got Rebecca. Yep, you've got to think of something. Rebecca, you're going to be up. And Isaac, you're up. Right? So Heidi, Rebecca, and Isaac. We're active. This is not going to work unless we get into it, guys. So let's
So
see.
I just unmute and say something?
Yep.
Yeah. If you hear a noise, it's just my baby in the background, which is why I'm on mute.
Yep.
Maybe I'll do a true or false.
Okay.
I landed a record deal in my early 20s with a label in Paris, so traveled there for some work.
Ooh, righto. Let's go in the chat. Got your chat opening?
Yep, true.
Right. I've got my T vote in. T, yeah. Ooh, Rebecca, either very convincing, right, or it's true. So you better tell us.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey, a bit of a muso.
Yeah.
There's a Psalm 100. It says, "Make a joyful noise to the Lord." That's me.
Yeah.
I'm a noise. I sing, but I'm noisy. I can't really sing. My kids are gifted in singing and playing instruments. I don't know. It must be my wife's genes. Okay, Heidi. Thanks, Rebecca, for that. Heidi, what do you got for us?
I couldn't think of any fun facts.
No fun facts? You're doing a pass mark? Well, I come back to Isaac. We'll get Heidi. We're not going to leave you alone. So you're going to have to come with something. Yeah, pressure. Isaac, give us something.
Yeah, I'm still thinking of a fun fact for myself as well, unfortunately. But I'm going to need a bit more time.
Tell us where you're from, Isaac. Tell us where you're from.
Well, I'm from Queensland. I've born in Queensland, born in Brisbane. Been here most of my life, but I've travelled to China for a few years, lived there for a few years, and I've come back. And yeah, I've just finished school, and this is kind of getting into what I've been doing before coming to CHC. You know, I've just gotten out of school and went to QUT for a bit, tried out some creative writing. I didn't really enjoy that, so dropped that, and now I've come to CHC to study secondary teaching. So I'm looking forward to it.
English major, I imagine.
I want to major in history and minor in English. I'm looking at.
Okay, good, great. Well, that's
Same,
good.
Actually, sorry, that's good to hear. Yeah, I'm English and history as well.
Wow, yeah, no,
that's teaming up there. Okay, Heidi, we're back to you. Thank you, Isaac, for sharing. Come on, let's say something.
All right, true or false? Did I graduate from high school 20 years ago?
So you're 20 years, high school 20 years ago. You've had some
Did I
work done.
graduate from high school 20?
Obviously had some work done. I'm going to go, no, I'm going to say 18 years ago. Okay, now, I'm saying false.
Oops.
Oh, no, it's a mixed bag. Got it?
Yes,
Okay.
true.
Rude.
True. 2001, I finished high school and met my hubby, and we've been together ever since.
Hey, that's great. So good that you're coming, you know, you look at some demographics of our course, and you've got lots of mature age alongside graduates. So welcome along. Let's keep going. You don't know that. If you know, get organised, get involved, lots of questions, particularly in online mode, you're happy to give me an email. Involve ourselves in the discussions here. Look, we did a whole lot of little talking and interaction. Did that add to CR111 learning outcomes? No. But we want to say the way online learning community works is if we interact. And I've got a Padlet coming up shortly, which I will give to you. So what's that? Oh, yeah. We've got student support services. So for academic writing purpose, they do virtual connections as well, if you need it, in student supports. So there's Joyce Mock is there, and Anne Millard is another one who can do support you. Excuse me, part of my role as a course coordinator to support people through that process too. So feel free to, you know, contact me at really anytime. If you contact me at 10 o'clock at night, I will not answer your email. I will not answer your email. But if you contact, I will answer it sometime. Okay. There's the 3 parts. I've gone through the organisation of it with you there. So we're just doing some headlines. I've gone through that. You've got, I know where Moodle is. Moodle is your learning portal, Office 360. So MyCX is your administrative portal. And we've gone through there. Right. Okay, we've done what we needed to do in terms of going through the headline. Now, Heidi, you're leaving early, weren't you? Did you have any questions that you wanted to ask?
I'm not leaving early.
Who was leaving early? Someone was going to P216 or 212.
Oh, yes, that was me. Sorry.
You got anything, Kate, that you wanted to talk about before we go?
Oh no, it was well explained. Thank you. I'll have a bit more of an explore of that Moodle page and go and prepare to take those pre-tests in the next few days. But yeah, thank you for being so instructive.
Okay, thank you for that. Thanks for the endorsement. So today was really to introduce CR111 and how it's constructed and on things. So I'm going to do one little activity, which is really, this activity is like assignment 3 at the 3rd task. And to give you your head around this. So we didn't do too much content in class today. We went through this activity, we talked a little bit more about it, and then I got them to do the test in class. So I'm going to get you to do those online quizzes outside class. So we're going to rock and roll a little bit earlier for you. So I'm going to see if I can find my little link. I had it all open until the internet went down. So, excuse me, I'm going to go Padlet. Who's heard of Padlet, anyone? No, it's a sort of it's a nice little tool that we can do online. So I can see if my Padlet's going to work for me, given that all my internet shut down. Where's my Padlet? Here we go. I'm going to send a link to you through the chat. Controls over here. So you've got something coming through there. There's a link there. Okay, so you can open up that Padlet, and I'll share. There we go. I'll share it over here, and you're seeing it. That's the Padlet on screen. Okay, and on the plus sign down here, you can add something to it. Righto. So let's see if I can get all my little things working together since everything fell over. Excuse me while I do 1 minute. So what I'm going to get to is going to show you a stimulus material. I actually gave this to the class today. And so it's the same exercise. Excuse me. That's how many emails I've had today. There you go. That's how many emails. Crazy. Excuse me. I think it's this one here. Yep, that's it. Okay, can you see this on screen? At all? We're good? That's from the Courier Mail. So that's obviously page 41. It was today. There you go. It's today's Courier Mail. There, and so I'm going to say, I'm going to get you to shortly go on the Padlet and say, what are the things, if this was the assignment that you, let's say, make up an assignment, and it was to examine the weather period over a fortnight or a month or something, right? I'm just going to scroll down what's on that page. Okay. And there's other bits I could throw up too, which I might later. But that's the stimulus. So I'll just go to about, I'll go there. So that's what the top looks like. I'm just going to cut that off. What literacies, what numeracies do you think are needed for a student to actually engage with that material? So the assignment was for study the weather over 2 weeks or something, map the tides, map the temperatures, create a story around that and see how it all works. Notice there's sunrise and sunset here too. I'll show you another little one I've got that I'll show you another part of that graphic that is there. So what things would they need to understand to be successful in that task? Now, how many, let's shout out, who are we, high school? Are we primary? How many have we got of each? Yeah.
Primary.
I'm primary.
Primary.
And Isaac's secondary, isn't he?
Yeah, secondary, yeah.
Yeah, so look, you can think of, let's say it's in year 9 geography, primaries. Can I get you to think about being a grade 4 class? Maybe get your head around a 9-year-old or something like that.
Goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Are we only doing
So
literacy?
a 9-year-old, this would be a reasonable thing to give to a 9-year-old. You know, what would you need to do? What things are in there that are literate things and numerate things that they would need to understand to be successful in doing an assignment, which was mapping the weather, writing about how it changes, what are the cycles of it, etc. Maybe relate that to some other aspects that you're dealing with. And in geography, you go a little bit more detailed, wouldn't you? You probably get a little bit more analytical about the task. In say it could be a geography / history unit, probably not history, but obviously geography. Okay, so can someone give me just off the top of the head to start us going, what is the numerate thing that you see there?
The temperatures.
Okay, so what's temperature about? The degrees Celsius? You're understanding what degrees Celsius is going to be important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that hot or cold? Well, year 9, you'd hopefully got it, but what about a grade 4? What's hot and what's really hot? You'd have to do something with that, wouldn't you? So even the temperature, getting that scaffolding, it's called in education. What scaffolds do you need to put around the learning so they can actually understand it? So you'd have to go into that. Okay, good, that's one. Can someone give me something there that they think, they have to understand this in terms of the English or the literacy? Give me one of those. Since we got...
Map.
Nothing. Real easy.
Map.
How the maps work, and there's a legend with that. That's maybe graphical information. So how do the literacies around infographic? Yep, but also some language. You know, what words go with this? So, for example, you know, here's the temperatures, and it's got min and max. So minimum. What's minimum? A grade 4 may not really understand what minimum means. Now, that's what we call a word knowledge. It's a literacy called word knowledge, because every subject area has its own language, you know. So therefore, to unpack a learning in a particular subject area, you really got to understand what the language is. So for the English guys over here, if I said, now this is a certain sort of genre, isn't it? It's, you know, it's a newspaper genre, it's an infographic sort of blend as in terms of its genre. Now, if I said genre to year 4, they would go, yeah. So the word genre needs to be unpacked. What about a year 9 student? What do you reckon, Catherine? If I said, what genre is that? You reckon they'd have an idea? I can hear the...
Should do.
Maybe. Depends how they've been taught, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know, if they had to produce a report on this, that's a genre. Or it might be a reflection, different genre. They might have to use a persuasive piece about using the weather as a stimulus about global warming or something, you know. So that's a different again. So some of those things are going to be associated or embedded in the task that you need to do. And that's a literacy that's there. You know, career miles written for about grade reading age about 9 or 10, they say. So there's not things that are complex, but even things like, you know, direction, northeasterly. Well, what's that mean? I don't know about you, but my wife says she's sometimes geographically challenged. So, you know, if I said I go to the corner, it's on the northwest corner. What? Where's north? You know, people don't always get that. That's a new skill. Okay. Okay, what am I doing? Where's this fit in? We've got our Padlet. Let me get my Padlet up again. Where's my Padlet? There we go. Over here. Can you have a look? Ah, my problem. Oh, we're good. Thank you. We're writing in our Padlet the things that are there. Can I get you to write down the literacies? Hit the plus sign. What literacies and what numeracies might be embedded in that task. Okay, and I'll get you to write it on the Padlet. So maybe have that open on one screen there. I'm going to get this going to pop up. I'm just going to minimize that for the moment and pull up that again. So you can type away on your answer if you like on the Padlet, and I will have this up. And I'll also show you one of the other bottom half of that. So what else is there? There's some of the, here we go. Here's some other things that are on that sheet there. That's one part of it. There's another part. Okay, look at those literacies coming up. Great. Who's writing away there? You're in the zone.
Hey, Pete, I'm on.
Peter
Can you hear me?
Edwards has joined us. We'll give him a fun, he'll have to give us a fun fact shortly, Pete. So we shared some fun facts. Okay, maybe another 30 seconds. What else is, what other, you know, we've got statistics, graphing, seasons, maps, tables. That's pretty good. Moon phases. Yep, we've got all those literacies. Anything else that people want to grab? I'll come back and I'll just throw them up for the last innings. That's the bottom, an extra bit of the table there. I took a photo of. Okay, we'll leave it at that. So that's a Padlet, and I'll go and see if I can get rid, I can delete or clear. I wonder if I've got clear or post yet, because we'll use the Padlet again. So yeah, you're right. There's all those things there. I'll thank you for those, whoever's wrote all those literacy things that are there. Okay. So, because they're not necessarily as obvious to us for many people. Lots of graphs, tables, numbers. Did anyone write percent down at all? Did you see percent? There was a lots of percent. Let's go back and have a look, and it's probably in that bottom screen is given here. But let's have a look at that bottom screen. What does 161 litres average daily person use mean? Gosh, you sort of got to get your head around that. And that's rate, that's a daily rate, isn't it? And so if you could ask a question, if you had 5 people in your household, how many litres would you expect that household to use? So, and what would you do with that? I mean, well, what's the answer to that? Can someone quickly say, well, how would you solve that question? If you've got 5 people in your household, what's your average daily household use? You know, what would you have to do? Ursula, what would you do if you had that question? I think I've got some more in the chat box. Great. So, what would you do, guys, how would you solve that problem, Ursula? 5 people in your household, how would you solve it?
So you're asking how much
would the household use?
Liters? Oh, okay, multiplication. Oh, no,
Yeah,
hang
just
on, division, sorry, division.
Okay, well, that should be multiplication because you've got times 5, it's per person. So, you know, the whole concept, what does per person mean? So I'm saying that's really good. Now, if I asked you to write in the chat, okay, write in the chat, write the figure with how many zeros it is, 862 megalitres. So that's the total daily use in the Brisbane, obviously, region, I think. Don't know what region it is, or it's SEQ region. Could you type in the message, Bank, the exact number? There's one. Heidi's gone for that one. Okay. Can I say they're the 2 most common? One with 6 zeros, one with 3 zeros. Another one. Well, I'm going to put Peter Edwards on the spot before he says his fun fact. What do you reckon is the right one? Oh, we've got it 9 zeros. Thanks, Catherine. We've got the variety. 3 zeros, 6 zeros, and 9 zeros. So 682,000, 682 million, 682 billion. Pete, what's the answer, mate? You're the literacy guy, so you know you're on the spot.
Oh, I think my microphone's broken, mate, right now.
Give a stab, you know.
Oh, gee, I'm just thinking, because I've come from the farm company where we have dams and megalitres, a megalitre of waters.
You want me to help you out? Got to phone a friend on this one?
Oh, look, I'm just trying to remember. I'm going to have a stab and think. Okay, mega. Kilo is 1,000.
It's not fair, is it, to put you on the spot, is it?
No, that doesn't worry me at all. Actually, I just know that I don't really know it, and that's fine. I'm happy. I've been married long enough to be happy being wrong. Look, I'm going to go 806. Oh, geez, a megalitre. Megalitres, 100,000 litres, I think. So 862 times 100,000.
Right, 100,000. 862,000. Answer's million. Million.
Yeah, I thought so.
Whoever typed that, well done. But hey, even in adult learners, that's something we don't know. So you'd have to have a literate knowledge about what does mega mean, and you have to have some mathematical stuff. And the whole concept of rate per household per day, and percent and so on, are all those things. So unless the kids understand that in your classroom, the task you set them is actually useless. So you've actually got to teach those skills alongside the task. So that example, if we have a look, go back to our Padlet, if I cleared there and going there, you have to teach those skills alongside. So what does this got to do with task 3, did you say? Could someone say that for me?
What has this got with task 3?
Good question. I'm glad you asked, Heidi.
Oh, you mean what does this have to do with task 3?
Yes, yes.
From a correct literacy perspective.
Well, sorry. So what it has got to do with task 3 is in part A, it asks you to identify the task we give you. It's on there for grade 3 or grade 10, different tasks, a task sheet for an assignment. What literate and numerate and ICT elements are involved in intrinsic to that task. Just like we had when we looked at these things, we said, you know, what numerate and literate things are involved in that task. And you extracted a whole range of things. Now, we did that a very quick exercise, but I'll get you to do a little bit more detail in the task that you have to do. So I'm using the word task a lot. The students there is on Moodle, there's a grade 3 activity where they have to map shadows. That's the grade 2 assessment. In the grade 10 task, it is to actually work on speed and velocity calculations. Now that's what the students have to do. Your job in terms of the CR111 is to unpack those tasks within the primary, if you're a primary student in the primary context, if you're secondary in the secondary context. Says what are the literate and numerate aspects that are needed for a student to effectively engage and be successful in the task, just like we unpacked some of the things that were there. The second part of the task now is design a website that shows you what me that unpacking, and here's the resources that you would use to help students be successful. So if we go back to our Padlet sort of thing that is there, there's my Padlet. I'll minimize that. You know, statistics, graphing, and seasons. What things would you put on the website that would support that? What videos, what worksheets, what little how-tos? What would you do if it's a report genre? How are you going to support and show them the reports that are there? So it won't let me highlight. So, you know, how do you engage with images, and how would they, if they have to take images, what sort of things they need to do? So what we did was a real micro, quick example of what we that's how we do task 3 for you. Okay, did you get that one? So it's not difficult, but hopefully it really is real life centered or teaching centered for you. That is there. I'll go for some questions, and then we're going to go to flick to Pete Edwards to give us some two true falses from his repertoire of ideas. You know, we never quite know what's going to come out of Pete, so we'll see whether it's, I won't even know if it's true and false. Well, let's see. He's going to come up with a surprise for us. Okay, let's do some open mic, some questions, please, about what we've just done in terms of that task.
I just want to say that when I went through it the other day,
Yeah.
I've gone through it all. It was that piece that was missing for me to apply the homeschooling that I do with my daughter. And I was just so excited to be able to go, that I understand it.
Great, great. So, you know, you're now the expert.
No, not yet.
Hey, I'm gonna hit up someone, Catherine. I'm gonna hit up Catherine. What's your level of understanding on that for you, or is there anything that you want clarity on? So, Catherine, and I've got two Catherines, haven't I? Catherine with a C, and there's a Catherine with a K. So, Catherine with a C. I don't know, Catherine? No, haven't got anyone. How about Catherine with the K? Are you happy? Or have you got a question? Rating out of 5 in terms of the assessment. Understanding.
I think I have an idea of what's going on.
So
Still-
that's a 3. That's a pass mark, a 3, I reckon.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Can I, if you've got any particular questions, I'm going to clear the Padlet, right? Delete all posts. If you've got, okay, delete all posts. Yep, I'm deleting. I don't know why it tells me that. No, it's not letting me delete. Can you write something down? If you've got a question that comes to mind, you want to write it up there, you can do that, okay? Clear all posts. Come on, clear all posts. Peter, can I hand over to you? Can you give us a couple of fun facts?
Definitely. Sorry, I've just got one of these weird new Asus laptops that you're meant to flip upside down and bend in half so the camera's up the top. So I tried to work it, but I was upside down. So my apologies.
To give you a bit of context, we've given photos, we've shown you photos, we're from Bundaberg and that sort of thing. Okay, over to you.
Well, in that case, I don't have a whole lot. Yeah, look, welcome along, everybody. It's an honour to join you, to be working with you. You're from Bundaberg. Go, Catherine. Catherine, where in Bundaberg?
That's that box.
Yeah, we're living in Bundaberg at the moment, in sort of Ashfield suburb.
Okay, Ashfield, there you go. My last job was head of primary at Bundaberg Christian College, just up the road.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
My sister goes there.
There you go. Oh, hey, Heidi. Yeah, look, I'm looking forward to getting to know each of you over the next few weeks. It's interesting looking at people's video. Ursula, I'm looking behind you. I see incredibly high levels of organisation. Heidi, I'm fascinated by that poster on the right-hand side behind you. Your left, my right. Yeah, you're either in a cafe or you're involved in advertising. But anyway, it's yeah, interesting. Yeah, look, no, welcome along and looking forward to getting to know you. I think that's about it, Pete. If you've got any true false
Give us a
questions.
fun fact. Give us a fun fact or a true false, mate. See how we go.
Oh, gee. So I went to see the Oils last night, mate. I'm too tired to do fun facts. Okay, true false. Am I a Midnight Oil fan?
Yeah. That's a self-disclosure right there. Nah, not going to count that. We're all saying
True.
True. So fun facts. Have I ever rap jumped?
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, rap jumping is, you know, abseiling, Heidi.
Yeah.
Okay, so rap jumping, you put the figure of 8 effectively on against your back and you run front ways down the cliff instead of going backwards.
Oh, you've definitely done it. You know what it is.
Oh, I may have just seen it on TV. I'm a highly visual learner. But yes, I have done it. Yeah. The theory is you get to see what you're going to hit if you fall. So, no, it's good fun. Other fun facts. Oh, sorry, Pete, I'm a little bit out at this stage.
No, that's all right. Okay. So the one in this morning, the other fun fact we had to talk about was, has he done a half marathon? Okay. So, you know, he's obviously a bit outdoorsy sort of guy, lives in the country, coming back, you know, he's a bit, you know, a bit edgy. Is he done a half marathon? Is he that good?
Edgy, I like that. It's a new word. Oh, thanks, Heidi. I'm hurt.
No, he's not. He's not a half marathon according to Heidi. Is anyone else to add to that? And then you can tell us what you think, Peter. False. It's
Catherine, Bundaberg, please.
Clear pattern here, Pete. It says, no, you have not run a half marathon.
Well, the non-believers.
Not so. What's the answer?
The answer is you're all correct if you said false. 20 Ks is the longest I've ever run. But I'm a long distance cyclist, or I was. So my longest bike ride was 1,500 kilometres.
Yeah, just an odd stroll.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, Townsville to Brisbane. I think that's about 1,500.
Yeah. I don't know why people do that. I'm a bike rider. I do a little bit of roadie. I don't understand why you do that. I mean, really, why would you do that?
Well, let's just say.
Why don't you go, okay, we're going to pause that because I don't want to go too much on that. But if you've got any questions, you can add it to the Padlet about any questions before we go. But what I'd like you to do, just to recap, is to go into the unit outline, into the Moodle site that is there. And I'll see if I've got an extra tab for Moodle. Doesn't seem to. Oh, here we go. Go into Moodle and put a self-introduction video up. One bit of homework. Go and there's a voice thread. You won't find too many there. There's the link to it. Have a look at the unit information, the unit outline, the assessment, and in that you'll find, as we looked before, I'm scrolling down. You'll find the due dates come out of when the submission portal through Turnitin. If you're familiar with Turnitin, it's a plagiarism checker, I suppose, portal that allows us to examine what you've done. Here's the quizzes, not to start them yet, but I'm going to get you over this week. This is where I want you to go, and that's under the unit information tile, and to do the pre-test literacy and the pre-test numeracy. They'll probably take you 30 to 40 minutes each sort of deal, and that data will come through. And based on that data, you'll know yourself because it gives you your score at the end, and you can only submit once. It doesn't let you. So this got nothing to do with your score at the end. It doesn't count towards your assessment for this unit. What it does is it assesses where you're at. Okay, and it gives us a good idea. As I said, if you've done, high-level maths and high-level English, well, you're probably going to kick this out of the park. There's no use to just do it. But as I said, reiterate, about half the people even get fast-track status. They will actually want to stay along anyway after week 5. Please do that. Those results will come through, and I'll communicate with you next week. So for the next 3 or 4 weeks, we'll have a weekly session through online. Because we're really unpacking the digital task, and I'll ask for feedback. So read up on it, each module in the digital module, get your head around it. We're reiterating, we're a flipped learning model. So that's why I want you to engage with the PowerPoint. And as Ursula said, I looked at the PowerPoint, was it not enough Ursula maybe? Said I looked at the PowerPoint, I didn't quite get the connections or something. I don't know if it was you or someone else. That's good, ask the questions through these tutorials. If you want to. But hopefully you've got an understanding of the structure of the course, the various components, and you have a bit of a heads up in terms of the digital tasks that you need to do. I'll go through next session, but I'll ask you to have a bit of a play at the application called Weebly. And Weebly is quite an easy web design platform. And that's the one that we will model, and you don't have to use that. If you've got something else you're very familiar with or you've done this before, you're welcome to do that. But it's in the digital module 1. So after you've had a look at the outline, you've done the test, can I get you to dive into module 1, please? Because that's where we'll be playing next time we log in on next Monday for that. Okay. No questions have sort of come through the Padlet, so that's fine. But if you wanted to have something further, then the P2 team is here. So email p.edwards@chc, etc., or p.collins. Sorry?
Ursula just threw a question up in the chat room.
Oh, good. No, I'll have to refresh. Okay. Oh, in the chat room. Okay. What was that? Can you read it back, Pete, and you can answer it, or I'll answer it?
From Ursula Stone. So do we complete everything in the unit information by next week?
No, don't need to complete everything. You just need to have engaged with it. The only really completes that I need you to do is the pre-test. And I'd like you to have posted something about yourself in the voice thread. They're probably the must-dos. And I would like you to have engaged with digital module 1 before you come. Good question. Okay, I'm going to say adios, and I'll see you next week, and I'll paste for one of the thousands of every time the internet connection broke, it goes to a new recording. So there might be 3 or 4 recording links to this session. So we got there eventually. Thank you for your patience in terms of some of the quirks that happened at the beginning for that. So I'll see you online next week, as Pete will. So God bless.